dark and difficult times lie ahead. Soon we must all face the choice between what is right and what is easy.
Were you at the start of this protest? Did you kick off with a petition?
I started the petition, yeah, at the very beginning, and that's kind of what got a lot of attention and stuff.
OK, so what happened last week? Because I saw police at the gates of your school.
It was a peaceful protest and everything, so it was just us literally just wearing skirts and not coming in trousers.
And you were, Nina, you were refused entry to the school because you were wearing a skirt.
Yeah, so we were, like, trying to get in and sort of say that we wanted our education, and they were just, like, standing there, not letting any of us through, like holding their arms over the gate and stopping us from getting through.
Article 2 of the first protocol, right to education. This is on the Equality and Human Rights Commission website. Protocol 1, Article 2 protects your right to an effective education. Parents also have the right to ensure that their religious and philosophical beliefs are respected during their child's education. Are there any restrictions to this right? The right to educate does not give you the right to learn whatever you want, wherever you want. The courts have ruled that the right to education relates to the education system that already exists. It does not require the government to provide or subsidise any specific type of education. The government is allowed to regulate the way education is delivered. For example, it can pass laws making education compulsory or imposing health and safety requirements on schools. Schools are allowed to use admission policies so long as they are objective and reasonable. Although parents have a right to ensure their religious and philosophical beliefs are respected during a child's education, this is not an absolute right. As long as these beliefs are properly considered, any education authority can depart from them provided there are good reasons and it is done objectively. Critically, it caters for a diversity of beliefs and worldviews. What the law says. Protocol 1, Article 2, Right to Education. No person shall be denied a right to an education in the exercise of any functions which it assumes in relation to education and to teaching. The state shall respect the rights of parents to ensure such education and teaching is in conformity with their own religious and philosophical convictions. It would appear that the primary school in, I believe it's pronounced Lewes, in Sussex, is in fact breaching human rights by not allowing the children into school based on the fact that they are wearing skirts.
I think they should police it properly because a lot of schools do wear skirts and girls roll up their skirts, but they police it properly so that it's not inappropriate.
Now, don't get me wrong. I used to have to wear a uniform when I went to school. And although back then it wasn't the norm for girls to roll their skirt up, so it was, you know, very short. I understand how things have changed and now girls want to look older and, you know, all the rest of it. However, there are better ways to deal with this issue rather than ordering the girls not to wear skirts. That takes away their femininity. You know, a lot of girls want to look feminine. They want to wear a skirt. They enjoy wearing it. As they get older, they'll probably go to jeggings and whatnot, but you know, as they're younger, they like to wear skirts. They like to feel feminine and feel that they look good. And although school uniforms do not necessarily make you look good, to take away that right in order to appease a small group of people is ridiculous. I mean, there's a saying.
You simply fail to understand that the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few.
And I think that is relevant here. I think that to order these children, to order these school kids into wearing something, regardless to whether they want to or not, isn't really an issue because nobody really wants to wear a school uniform. But to order these people to wear something that strips them of their identity, if you like. They want to look feminine the same as the boys want to look macho. That's just human nature. That's how it is. But trying to take that away from people is, especially in a school setting, is going to affect their education. Yeah, fine. Educate children on the fact that there's such thing as gay people and lesbians and transsexuals and transvestites and cross-dressers and all the rest of it. By all means, teach them that. Yes, we have to do as we're told in school when it comes to behaviour. But a uniform, making such a fuss about a uniform, is going to do nothing for the school apart from make children unhappy, and therefore that's going to affect their education. And seeing as schools are there primarily to educate children, I don't see what the problem is. See, I've got about as much contempt for schools as I have for bent police officers. With children myself and being in relationships with girls with children, I know what schools can be like. I remember one time when the son of one of my ex-partners went to school. I was working, I was out the house at 5 o'clock back in those days. He went to school, his shirt wasn't ironed, and the school made him take his shirt off in front of the class and iron it. You know, they went and got an ironing board from somewhere and they made him iron his shirt in front of his class. And that embarrassed him to the point where he didn't want to go back to school anymore. And this is the kind of thing, I mean, that was pretty much the straw that broke the camel's back for me. Since then, I've really started to notice how bad schools are becoming. I mean, they're great in getting involved in people's lives outside school when they should be concentrating on their education inside school. The fact that these people, and this isn't the first school to do this, but the fact that these head teachers are so woke, you know, and feel that they have to do something. They feel that they've got to do something in order to look good. But if you just educate the children, that will be enough. Stop interfering. Stop trying to dictate what children can and cannot wear in respect, especially, I mean, outside school as well. I've known schools to have a go at pupils for stuff that they've worn outside school, after school, on weekends, and what they've done after school and at weekends, out of uniform. I've known schools to do that. They seem to want to get involved more and more in what goes on at home than they do dealing with children in school. But this is absolutely stupid. It's one of the most imbecilic things I think I've ever heard. And in fact, it reinforces my idea, which I said to somebody in a comment the other day on a video, that eventually we are going to end up like the clones in The Island.
Why do they lie, Mac? Why do they lie to us? Tell me.
To keep you from knowing what you are.
What we are?
What are we?
Oh, man, why do I gotta be the guy that tells the kids there's no Santa Claus? Okay, look, you're, well, you're not like me. You're not real. You're not like a real person, like me. You're clones.
Where nobody has their own identity. They have a number. Okay, they have a first name, but they have a number. On their jumpsuits, which everybody wears exactly the same, they have a number, and that's how they're identified. And that's kind of how things seem to be going here in the UK. Can't talk about other countries because I don't live there, but I'm sure it's going on elsewhere. But here in the UK, that's what it seems to be doing. And we are not numbers. We are human beings. We are people. We have our own emotions. We have our own views and values and opinions and beliefs. And for schools and governments and police to try and strip us of those is fundamentally wrong.
So they say that the main reasons stated by the school are that they want to have gender neutrality when it comes to clothing because it basically relieves any kind of tensions surrounding uniform and so on. But also they say that they want to accommodate transgender students and not make them feel uncomfortable. Now, my issue with that is I have no problem with transgender people and I have great respect for them and what they go through and fully respect their rights. I don't see why all the rights of girls, in this case, to be girls and to wear a skirt, should be changed so dramatically just to accommodate one or two students.
You know, children can moan about the school uniform that they've got to wear, but to strip them of their gender identity, which is ultimately what they're trying to do, to strip them of their gender identity, to make them gender neutral, when they're clearly not. I mean, is there a specific type of clothing that isn't for women and isn't for men? Is there something in the middle that isn't, you know, a dress or isn't a pair of trousers, or isn't a pair of boxer shorts or isn't a pair of knickers? I mean, is there something in the middle there? There isn't, which means there are boys' clothes and girls' clothes, or men's clothes and women's clothes. And just because somebody might be transgender, it doesn't mean that everybody has to wear a jumpsuit, for example. Transgender might be male to female. You know, being a female, maybe they want to wear a skirt. Maybe wearing trousers, as they're being forced to do, would offend that transgender person because they want to be, and they want to dress like a female. Or maybe, you know, on the flip side of things, it may be a girl to boy transgender. And, you know, that's fine if they want to wear trousers. But to take away that choice is to take away people's identity. Whereas you're saying you want to make it gender neutral. But what you're actually doing, as I say, is stripping children of their gender identity. You are not giving them a choice. You are forcing them to conform to a particular gender identity, if you like. And that is a non-conforming gender identity. And that is fundamentally wrong.
So on every level, this seems to me to be something that's been taken by a school for no proper reason. It's kind of woke. It's kind of, we feel like we should be doing something.
But the uniform isn't transgender. There are boys' trousers and girls' trousers, and there's no skirt. So if a child is transgender and wants to present as female, they can't do it because there are no skirts.
Well, that's the key thing, isn't it? And also, you know, girls, I want to speak for you, but you've grown up in a world where feminism's become a big talking point, and where a girl's right to choose how they look and what they wear has been fundamental to that. Now you're being told you're not allowed to dress like girls.
And here we have another fundamental problem made because the government and the establishment are so keen on creating these pockets of individuals. You know, these groups, these new groups of people who want to be, you know, identified as being different from everybody else. I mean, at the end of the day, we're all human beings. Why can we not just live all together as human beings? Why do we need to have these individual groups that in most cases are fundamentally against each other? I mean, one of the issues is the Muslim and Islamic faith and gay people, you know, trying to create these pockets of people and allowing everybody to do what they want to do, which is great, and I totally support everybody doing what they want to do, but creating these individual groups instead of incorporating or trying to incorporate everybody together is going to cause conflict. And now it seems like it's the feminists and the LGBT who are going to be at loggerheads, because the feminists want girls to be able to dress how they want, and the schools and the establishment and the LGBT community are saying, well, no, actually you have to dress how we want you to dress, because otherwise it's going to hurt our feelings.
OK, and I'll put the other point, which is schools are in charge of uniform. You don't get a lot of choice when you're at school. What is the problem with girls wearing trousers?
You don't get a lot of choice. What is the problem with girls wearing trousers? Well, first of all, taking that choice away is what's wrong. Taking the choice for a girl who wants to wear a skirt, taking that choice away from her is wrong. And you're not only taking that choice away from, you know, a biological girl. If somebody wants to transition to a girl and they want to transition and they want to wear and identify as a girl, you're taking the option away from the people you're trying to help. That's what's wrong.
Why do you, Susanna?
These girls are concerned
as somebody who has
climate.
trailblazed a woman's right to choice.
Because when
why
it
are
comes
you
to
now
school uniform,
depriving?
you don't have a right to choice.
But when it comes to school uniform, you don't have a choice. So if the school turned round and said, everybody has to wear a skirt, do you really think that not giving people a choice in that situation wouldn't cause problems? Okay, trousers can be gender neutral, and girls have the option to wear trousers or skirt. I don't see how changing that makes any difference at all. If they have the option to wear trousers or skirt, then so should the boys. That way, anybody who is transitional or confused, which a lot of them just are, or have been persuaded they're something they're not, or genuinely feel that they are, you know, in the wrong body for whatever reason, then would it not be better to offer everybody the choice of trousers or skirt rather than saying, no, everybody has to wear trousers?
You do.
But you don't.
We've had a choice of
girls have always been able to wear skirts.
And now they've taken
that's
away
the one thing
the girls.
You've had
It's
a
always
choice
the
over.
girls. It's always
Not
the
me, girls.
And I think that's a really good point.
Yes, the
That it
girls,
does
but
seem
and
that the
girls'
girls
families in this
are
instance
bearing the
have got to
brunt of
buy.
it.
We've got to buy a whole new uniform, and we've got to buy a skirt.
And the girls' trousers are more expensive.
But why not let boys wear
That shouldn't
skirts?
be allowed.
And why not have students the choice of skirts or trousers?
Yes.
And they choose.
I wouldn't
Hey, I just said that.
have a problem with that.
Why can't everyone have the
You
choice
do have a
of
problem with that.
uniform?
You're saying the
I do.
school has the right to dictate any uniform it wants.
Yes, and I also think that it's tough on the girls if they're the ones that have to bear the brunt of the change.
Do you agree with me?
Yeah.
No, but I don't think the students get the right to choose their uniform.
So we're back to this whole not having the right to choose a uniform. And you're not. This is the thing that Susanna Reid there seems to forget. The school chooses the uniform, the colours, the type, you know, what colour shirt, what type of tie. So it's not about children choosing their uniform. It's about children dressing in a way that they feel comfortable. It's about giving them the option of choosing between trousers and a skirt, a blouse or a shirt. It's not about giving kids the choice of uniform that they wear, so to speak. I mean, Article 3 of the Human Rights Act says we have the freedom from torture and inhumane or degrading treatment. Being made to wear trousers, if I was a girl and I liked, you know, all my fluffy fairies, pink sparkles and flutterbys, I would put it to you that that would be degrading to some people. Therefore, that could potentially be a second human rights issue that this school, and not just the school, but other authorities and groups of people, shall we say, are inflicting on children. And we should be teaching children about human rights, about our fundamental rights as human, you know, not our rights as little pockets, little groups of people. It's our rights as human beings. Cover all of that aspect. That's what we should be teaching children, and by forcing them to give up on, you know, some of their human rights, their right to education, their right to be free from degrading treatment, by teaching children that our human rights don't matter, is only going to make things a lot worse in this country and around the world. Now, there is more to this particular video. They go on to talk to the local MP who backs the young girls at the school, and they also talk to a feminist who is, you know, just there for a bit of attention, no doubt. I'm not going to go through that in this video. I think I've made my point clear. I think that schools are way out of control. They want more power than they actually have. They want to get involved in things that have nothing to do with them. They are there to educate, and that is it. By removing the option for girls to dress like girls if they want to dress like girls, or even boys to dress like girls if they want to dress like girls. I mean, let's face it, if we're going to be, you know, open and inclusive and understanding to all the different needs that different people need, then why take skirts away? It doesn't make any sense. Just give everybody the option. You can wear trousers or a skirt. End of. Do you know what I mean? By limiting the ability for children to choose for themselves, by forcing them to do it, you are not teaching them, you are not educating them on anything that they need to learn. You are forcing opinions and forcing views on children whose brains at that time are like sponges, and you know it. It's soaking it all up. Thankfully, there are some children who will fight back. I mean, I am so glad to see that the children at that school, you know, didn't back down, and they went and stood up against the establishment. The police were called. A lot of children would crap themselves because the police were called. Okay, maybe not so much now. I mean, in my day, children would have crapped themselves if the police turned up. But it seems that the children these days have more backbone than many adults. Many adults are quite happy to just bend over and take, you know, one of them up the backside and just get on with it, you know, and have their rights slowly stripped away from them whilst being fisted. Do you know what I mean? So I congratulate those children and any other child or children in this once great country that is standing up for themselves, that is standing up for their rights and their choices and making their opinions and views heard. You know, I congratulate you, and you all deserve one of these. So well done. I'm leaving it there, guys. Thank you very much for watching. If it's your first time here, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. If you feel that this video could help somebody that you know, please feel free to share it. Links are all below, or the sharing buttons are below. So this has turned out to be one of my shorter videos, you'll be glad to know. But I am definitely, certainly, 100% most positively leaving it there. So until next time.
Good night, all.